Hello, my name is Christina Romero, and I will be presenting the Organizational Design, Structure, and Change presentation for Management 605, Grand Canyon University, October 14th, 2020. Started in 2004 by Stephen Thorne, Pacific Dental Services has become one of the biggest and most influential companies in the dental industry. The vision for PDS came to Stephen when he was asked to install a computer program in his father's dental office, which led to him computerizing the whole practice. Stephen was great with technology, so while he was working there, Stephen learned the ins and outs of dental and gained knowledge about the industry. He then decided he would take his experience and set his goal of creating the greatest dental company in America. Starting with one office in Costa Mesa, California, Pacific Dental Services now has over 700 supported offices in 20 states, with plans to add 80 new offices per year. PDS has been on the Inc. 5000 list of the fastest growing private companies in America for the past 10 years in a row. The essence of the PDS business model is simple, enabling clinicians to focus more on the patient and worry less about the business. Of the 8 dimensions that firms are rated for in Fortune's most admired list of the top companies in the United States, Pacific Dental Services ticks many boxes. However, one major issue that they have been experiencing has been keeping quality employees. Turnover can be expected with a large company like PDS, but theirs is significant. It may be their fast growth, but PDS is underperforming in the area of people management. While the turnover rate will never be advertised, one look at company review websites such as Glassdoor or CareerBliss can tell you that many current and former employees are unhappy with the management. Most managers come from retail backgrounds and rarely have dental experience. This poses a problem for those whose jobs are clinical because the managers do not understand dental-specific issues. There are training classes for new managers, but they are few and do not focus on specific management protocols. Decisions are mostly left up to each office since they are individually owned by the dentist. Since PDS has many offices, they will often shuffle employees around to ensure coverage, which can be challenging. While the company is successful and has benefits, there is not a lot of incentive to stay, nor is there much upward movement within most positions. For such a large company, the fact that they experience such a lack of training, lack of support from upper management, such a varied form of management, low standards of hire, and inadequate pay and benefits increases the turnover rate. A third of employees who quit their jobs did so because they didn't learn new skills or better performance. A lack of career growth is one of the biggest reasons workers leave, second only to low pay. ACSHAR 2019. While the management of the company overall is structured well, management at the lower level is often left to their own devices. Staff in dental positions work hard to gain the trust and loyalty of their patients. Patients become comfortable and confident in those that they see often and build relationships with them over time. Companies are most successful when they have their employees' loyalty, understanding, and buy-in. When management is poor, the entire company suffers. Offices that have been poorly managed have had financial issues, employee dissatisfaction, turnover, patient dissatisfaction, and potentially even office closure. While this is drastic, it has happened when a local office no longer has enough employees, loyal patients, or dentists to work. In some offices, patients learn to not build relationships with staff because they know they will not be there the next time. This proves problematic when trying to get a patient to understand that they need costly treatment or getting them to come back. Organizational design is the process of selecting and managing aspects of organizational structure and culture to enable the organization to achieve its goals. Designing and redesigning the organization in response to internal and external changes is a key managerial function. Pacific Dental Services currently has a bureaucratic and divisional structure. The company has a formal division of labor, hierarchy, and standardization of work procedures, and employee behaviors follow written rules. They also have a divisional structure within a bureaucratic structure. This is functional for them because PDS has numerous services, geographic areas, and customers, so this structure makes the most sense for the company. However, due to the large divisions, different people have their hands in the decision-making pot regarding hiring and pay. Since the company is large, any attempt to argue for more pay is wrapped in red tape. Pacific Dental Services currently utilizes a hierarchical organizational design. This is identified by the pyramid-shaped organizational chart, which has the chain of command going from the top, CEO, down to entry-level employees, and each employee has a supervisor. There are many positives to this type of design, and the CEO manages to keep it structured and effective. Other pros to this design are that it better defines levels of authority and responsibility, shows who each person reports to and who to talk to about specific projects, motivates employees with clear career paths and chances for promotion, gives each employee a specialty, and creates camaraderie between employees within the same department. Due to how the organization is shaped, employee pay can be all over the board, and new hires can be put anywhere on the organizational chart at any time. If there are higher level roles to fill, outside hires can come in with little to no dental knowledge to fill a corporate spot. The problem with the current organizational design is that it can make lower level employees feel like they have less ownership and can't express the ideas for their company. Large companies with hierarchies prove harder to make changes due to the systems in place. The textbook states the larger an organization and its subunits, the taller the hierarchy, the greater the centralization, the more bureaucratically it operates, and the greater the chances of conflict between managers and employees. There are 4 types of organizational culture: clan, adhocracy, hierarchy, and market. Since the dental industry is part of the medical field, strict practices and protocols do need to be put into place. Pacific Dental Services does this well by creating a culture of hierarchy. While this is more formal, the company tries to create the culture of innovation and change as well, but usually within the walls of the guidelines. Being a large corporate company, they utilize the hierarchy culture, which is founded on structure and control, and values include consistency and uniformity. This does not allow for much room or change to innovate or to make changes, which could also aid the high turnover. While PDS has a strong design, structure, and culture, it does not foster employees' loyalty, innovation abilities, or effective people management. Conscious capitalism has 4 tenets: purpose, culture, stakeholder, and leadership. Pacific Dental Services embodies all of these. Higher purpose and conscious leadership are fulfilled by their belief that the company should serve as many people as possible locally, regionally, and globally. Each team member receives 8 company-paid hours to designate to volunteer work in their community, which instills the higher purpose and conscious culture of service in them as well. PDS's stakeholder orientation has them partnering with many local charities to give back as often as possible, which have included the Ronald McDonald House, a New Leaf Foundation, and the Houston Flood Bank. The company also participates in their own Smile Generation Serve Day once a year, where they provide free dentistry for people in need, usually partnering with local shelters or charities, and all on donated time. PDS partners with the company Kaboom to provide team members to help build playgrounds in underserved communities, provides funding for Charity Water, who provide access to clean drinking water in different parts of the world, and founded the Pacific Dental Services Foundation, which facilitates international service trips to Guatemala, Fiji, and Ethiopia to provide free dentistry to their people in need. The conscious culture is built around the company's we believes or value statements. These 8 statements guide all decisions made within the company and engages employees and customers alike. We are a service organization at our core. How we serve our team members, our supported clinicians, our families, and our communities ultimately leads to how the supported offices serve their patients. The bottom line is we want to make a difference in our local communities, across the country, and around the globe. In order to create positive change for Pacific Dental Services, I have created an improvement plan using Kotter's 8-step change model. Step 1, create a sense of urgency. Show how negative high turnover is and get this information to all employees. Step 2, build a guiding coalition. Present this information to next level management to gain support for the change. Step 3, form a strategic vision and initiatives to build from within and pay what employees are worth. Step 4, enlist a volunteer army. Gather affected employees and former employees to present this information to upper management. Step 5, enable action by removing barriers. Current and efficient processes are manager training, annual reviews, and employee management. Less unhappy employees and better management would equal lower turnover. Step 6, generate short-term wins. Celebrating managers who have low turnover may boost morale around employee tenure. Step 7, sustain acceleration. Aim for a certain percentage of retention, not just for customers, but for employees as well. Step 8, institute change. Continuing training for managers as well as employees to keep seasoned employees and do course correction on managers who are not adhering to values and guidelines. Challenges come about every time there is major change made. Conflicts, setbacks, and resistance are all part of implementing new ideas into a system. In this company, there will most likely be resistance to change how managers are managed. Currently, there is not much training or oversight of managers and their systems, including reviews and pay. Changes to this could spark issues with current managers. This can be handled by regional managers and above who would be responsible for the implementation. Paying employees what they are worth could also be a potential issue for those who do not pull their own weight. Employee retention needs to be centered around those who are beneficial for the company, not those who they shift around to different offices to avoid having to fire them. HR would need to step in and handle evaluations of pay and performance to keep managers responsible to someone for these issues. Each system, from regional managers to office managers to HR, along with the training sector, will need to align with these changes to allow Pacific Dental Services to grow and thrive with new regulations. This presentation has allowed me to learn many lessons. First and foremost, listen to your employees. They are a vital part of the business and if hired well, should be a benefit. They should also be paid accordingly. Depending on the position, pay should be according to their experience and what they bring to the table. Hiring a manager who's never worked in dental, pay accordingly until they can show they can take on the role properly. Proper training and management should follow company values and guidelines. This lessens confusion and allows for high-performing employees. So many issues can be avoided, including high turnover, just by correcting poor management styles. One strategy that I will avoid is putting all power in the hands of few. A narrow span of control is good in some areas, but can cause issues when the field employees are so far separated from the ones making decisions. Formalization, the extent to which organizational rules, procedures, and communications are written down and closely followed, are important to a high-performing organization. Ensuring that all employees know and embody company values is vital to success. After thoroughly studying conscious capitalism and servant leadership, this is definitely a leadership strategy that I will be using as a manager in the future. These affect 4 areas that I would like to impact in my management and organizational structure in future. For organizational structure, model 3 or 4 would be best, halfway between mechanistic and organic structure for my future goals. I like structure but not rigidity, and I prefer teamwork but with hierarchy. Learning these lessons and strategies have made me a better manager and helped me map out my organization more effectively.